Welcome back to This Day. Joining me now is Martin Veprauskas. He is a candidate running for U.S. Senate. Martin, so nice to meet you. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. And so tell me about your background and, what led you to this point in your life to want to run for Senate?
Well, I'm a 20-year Navy veteran, and I was visiting my granddaughter in San Jose, and she's 3 months old. And I turn on the news, and I see the politicians fighting all the time. I didn't send them there to do that. It's embarrassing. They're embarrassing themselves and our country. So it's not that difficult. Do your job, correct the problems, and go home. So they made Grandpa mad. Grandpa has to get up off the couch and bring back the American dream for my granddaughter.
Well, that's wonderful. You felt a calling and you acted on it.
Exactly.
And that's great. And so you were in the U.S. Navy for 20 years. What were some of your duties with the U.S. Navy?
With the U.S. Navy, towards the end, I was controlling fighter aircraft, and the difference in the military is instead of keeping aircraft apart, we brought them together to identify them as friend and foe. And if the Marines or any of the military on the beach needed assistance, we would send the fighter aircraft there to help them out.
Oh, wonderful. And after 9/11, I understand you were vital in supporting the security of the West Coast.
While I was active duty, 9/11 happened, and my job was to take the small coastal patrol craft and augment the Coast Guard to protect western United States, California, Oregon, and Washington, and Canada from people trying to invade our border.
Yeah.
And after I retired from that, I got my master's degree in cybersecurity and built labs for Homeland Defense so that if North Korea, China sent an intercontinental ballistic missile and tried to blow up something in the United States, our lab that's manned 24/7 in San Diego would shoot down the missile as a last resort.
Wow. Yeah. Who knows all these things that are happening that we don't even realize, for security of our country.
Exactly. Not many people do. When they see it on the news, they say, oh, what's that bright light? Well, that's us practicing to keep America safe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for your service. And so no wonder one of your policies then is to help secure the border and also to deal with this fentanyl crisis.
Well, the border is embarrassing. There's reasons why the border isn't secured. We secured the border 8 years ago when we sent down the National Guard. They did an excellent job. They're trained, and they had no problem securing the border. But they were doing such a good job that the powers that be said, oh, well, you know what? Why don't you do admin jobs and free up the Border Patrol so they can do their job? And they did. And American people that are manning the borders are so well trained that even that was working. So then the powers that be say, well, you know what? There's too many Border Patrol agents in San Diego. They said this a month ago. We need to take some of the Border Patrol agents from San Diego and spread them across the border where there's nobody trying to come across. How ridiculous is that? There's two reasons why the border isn't secure. One, illegal votes. Two, cheap labor. And that's the only reason I can see why the border is not secure right now. Me and my wife went down to the border 3 weeks ago before all these politicians started taking photo ops down there. We had to walk, because of the sewage spill, 2 hours through soft sand to get to the lone Border Patrol agent where the fence meets the water. And that's fine. I don't mind doing that. I wanted to check out the fence, see how high it is, talk to the Border Patrol agent down there. He's very well trained and was willing to stand there by himself to protect the United States of America. Well, we can do better than that. He has the whole country behind him. So at any rate, the thing that makes me mad about the border, how dare China send their fentanyl over the southern border and kill a generation of our young people that should be in the military? So that's what's happening right now. Before Biden, Newsom, he went over to China. His own main concern was money. And he didn't say nothing about China. If I went over to China or talked to the Chinese president, so I'll give Biden some kudos. At least he had a photo op when he was talking to the Chinese president here in California. He did mention, China, you need to stop sending your fentanyl. So that's fine. I would have been a little more, hey, you know what? You keep sending your fentanyl here, we're going to cut off ties. And a lot of our products go back and forth, and if it takes hitting them in the pocketbook to stop it, let's do it. Because I'd box up all that fentanyl, and I'd send it back to their country. So that's just how I feel at the border. It's doable. As a veteran, it's an easy fix. Let the National Guard do their job like they did before.
And one of your other policies is to prevent mass shootings. How do you address this?
You know, I thought about it, and the only thing that makes sense to me is that the parents know there's a problem with an individual. Psychiatrist knows there's a problem with the individual. Law enforcement knows there's a problem with the individual. The disconnect is law enforcement says we can't do nothing because they didn't kill anybody yet. Well, you know what? I don't want to wait till somebody gets killed or hurt. If there's a person that's professionally diagnosed that he's going to cause harm to himself or others, or causing death, we need to, instead of putting it on their ankle, put something on their wrist that if they go near a mass gathering, a church, a school, whatever the event happens to be, that it sends a signal to that facility and alerts the guards on duty, the police in the area, that this individual is 2,000 yards out and they need to be stopped before they hurt somebody. So that's my take on that. Right now, I hope everybody that's in power can run with these solutions and corrects them, because in the schools right now, they have a firebox-like type setup. You push the button, everybody goes into lockdown. Well, you know what? Let's take it a step further. Okay, you go into lockdown, but let's prevent them from coming through the gate.
Yeah, I like that. And mental health is so important, and it leads into another one of your policies, which is, you know, to combat homelessness.
Exactly. As far as mental health and homelessness, and I'll include that with affordable housing. If you go to martinforcalifornia.com, all these issues are addressed, and not only the issues, because everybody knows the issues, but none of them have the solutions for the issues on their website. I do. I wouldn't list an issue that I wouldn't be able to solve within 6 years. I'm only going to do 6 years because I'm coming out of my retirement to do this. And I don't mind giving the country 6 more years of my service. And it's not for me, it's for everybody. It's for your kids, your grandkids, your mothers, your fathers. But my solution to all this is all inclusive. First of all, stop people from becoming homeless. If they need assistance, help them. And that will stop the homelessness from growing. And then you'll be left with people that have mental health issues. And we can address those people. And I hate the word homeless. You know what? They're not homelessness. They're Americans that made the wrong decision or are having a hard time and need help.
Yeah.
You know, help up, not a handout. Because the money is going and going. And you tell me one thing. The buzzword nowadays is affordable housing. You go to my website, I'll show you where affordable housing is. We need to stop the short-term rentals from taking the money from out of state, overseas, and leaving us with nothing. That's where our affordable housing is. These people that are building affordable housing right now, you tell me what's going to stop that a year from now from becoming a short-term rental, and then it won't be on the market. Till we address it from the top like I will, we're just going to have the same problem over and over again.
Well, and we're just about out of time, but some interesting tidbits about you. You have a 98% approval rating with grassroots voters, and you're transcending party lines. You were just telling me some stories about that.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm a people person. I know what it's like to pay bills. I know what it's like to choose between medicine and food. And the people out there love me because I'm just like them. Millennials, the baby boomers, out of 7,000 signatures I had to get, only 4 didn't sign. And the one person that didn't want to sign says, well, I'm not going to vote for you. And I said, well, why? And he said, because I'm a Democrat. And I said, it doesn't matter, Democrat, Republican, Independent. Look at the issues that we're going to correct for everybody. And so that's why everybody's saying they're going to re-register to vote for me. And I have Democrats that are putting signs up in their front yard. I had a Democrat make me a magnet to put on my refrigerator. They love me, I love them, because I'm like, there's good people in each party. And maybe we should do away with the parties, you tell me, because it seems like they're pitting us against each other and just taking the money and running. It's not the way it should be. It should be who's the best candidate to do the job.
Absolutely. Well, it
Yeah.
sounds like your heart is in the right place and want to make positive changes. So thank you for being here today and explaining this for us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. If you'd like to research more about Martin and his policies, you can visit martinforcalifornia.com and join him in helping to shape a brighter future for California. Stay with us because we'll have announcements and weather coming up right after this.